Today I want to show you a quick way to make ciabatta rolls or ciabatta bread. It's really a simple dough. It has 4 ingredients, basically twice the amount of flour as you have water, and then salt and yeast. It doesn't take very much yeast. It's only a teaspoon, where typically with a loaf of bread I use at least 3/4 of a tablespoon. Some people will take and mix their yeast and flour the day ahead with a small amount so that then they can add it in. Kind of, they say, boosts the flavor of the dough. I say just throw it all in and it'll be good. So here you see I put the flour into the mixer. Now I'm adding the salt. Basically I just did a heaping teaspoon there, and I'll start it stirring and then go ahead and dump in my water and yeast. Notice I didn't mention that there's sugar. In this one I didn't bother to use any sugar. The yeast is basically just going to feed off of the flour, and we're going to let it go for a long rise time so that we get those nice big bubbles in the dough. So in order to speed up kind of the mixing process, I stop it here and stir it just a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and turn on the mixer. This is a very loose and sticky dough at the beginning. You can turn your mixer up to a higher speed than is normally recommended for bread. I usually run it on 4 or 5. And then I go ahead and mix it for about 12 to 15 minutes. The cool thing is what happens when you get to about the 7-minute mark. So right here you can see that the dough's coming together, but it's starting to stick to the sides because it's a very wet dough. And you're going to see it sticking to the sides continuously for about the first 7 minutes. And right around 7 minutes, then you'll see kind of the magic happening. Here we go, we're about 7 minutes, and you can see it's pulling away from the sides now and cleaning the sides of the bowl. There's been a change, the gluten's formed, and you're getting a really nice smooth dough. So here we are getting close to the end of it. You can see the dough's become kind of smooth and glossy, not really sticking to the sides. The bowl's nice and clean. Really, it's kind of beautiful. So we go ahead and stop it here, pull the dough hook out, and then we're going to let it rise. So sometimes with this dough, depending on the temperature of your house and things that are going on, it takes a while for it to rise. Be patient. You need to let it rise till it's at least triple the size. So you want to cover it with plastic wrap so that moisture is not getting out, and just be patient and let it rise. All those bubbles that it forms now are going to give it that nice fluffy texture on the inside. I don't know that I call it so much fluffy as just delicious. Anyway, you can see now that it's risen, and I'm going to be really careful about emptying it out of the bowl. I don't want to lose any of those air bubbles that have formed during the rise. So I'm carefully going to pour it out onto my floured surface. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little more flour on the top so that it's not so sticky as I cut it up. Now in this case I'm going to cut it into little rolls because we're using it for our pulled pork sandwiches, which this is just delicious way to have pulled pork. So you can see, just cut it up into little pieces. We're not really picky about the shape of it. You'll get quite a few rolls out of this recipe, but they will disappear very quickly. The kids love it. I love it. Anyway, so there you go. Now you're going to take that dough and you're going to bake it at 475 for 15 minutes. It'll get nice and golden brown and crispy on the outside, and look at that inside, just nice and tender. Big air bubbles in there. It's just beautiful. And here we go, putting little pulled pork in that one that I just ripped open. You can't ask for anything better than this. Kind of homemade pulled pork on a fresh roll.